Good evening, welcome along to Matchday Live with myself, Cel Spellman. It's half-time at the Etihad Stadium in our game against Leeds. And of course, we're trying to keep that record of having not lost on a Tuesday night in the Premier League since 1993. And safe to say, that record is still intact at the moment. It is currently Manchester City 3, Leeds 0. Here to devour them first 45 minutes are the two Shauns, and Shaun Goater and Shaun Wright-Phillips. Shaun, that was one of the most electric opening 20 minutes I think I'd seen from City. Assessment of the first half?
Honestly, it's just been a masterclass. I think, to be honest, Bielsa got it wrong. City are just running their players everywhere with this man-to-man thing, and City are way too clever on the ball to not utilise the space that Leeds are leaving behind. And I think every time they've done it, Rodri's just had space to drive into, and he's created all sorts of problems from Leeds. So for me, he's been the main man for City, which is where to say going forward.
Yeah, I mean, 2 assists I think from him as well, and actually I think that is indicative of actually the performance he's been putting in this season. Best I've seen him since we signed him. Shaun, I mean, the goals were, and we could have had more than 3, couldn't we?
Yes, I mean, been absolutely. The attack has been ferocious, really. As you said, that opened 20-25 minutes, and how we've been going at it, how we've moved the ball. Leeds have played a part in it, as Shaun has alluded to, and Andy and Man said in commentary. This man for man is just absolutely crazy, because once you go across your man, once we go, you beat your man, somebody else then has to be committed, and then that just leaves big spaces and gaps. And this is why we're seeing people like Rodri drive up towards the 18-yard line and sort of roll people in. The other one is Diaz. The reason we're seeing that is because Diaz is another one. As the ball is shifting, he steps and drives forward. He's got 20, 30 yards of space to go into because they're staying with this man for man. So tactically, Leeds have got a lot of shifting to do to change it, because it's not working. But we talk about Foden's first goal. Foden, doesn't make the greatest of contact. The defender goes with the small surface of his foot. He's sort of going straight to kick it, but he should go open his foot out to there's a bigger surface. So it's one of those things that you say to kids learning, in it. It's like, this is the big surface of your foot. So whether it's because he couldn't sort his feet out, but again, pleased to see it go in.
Yeah, of course, and Phil Foden as well. Great to see him in the score sheet. And then it was a man that we singled out, of course, before the game. We know he'd been trying to get his goals. Pep had said that he could have had a hat-trick against Wolves, and it came today for Jack Grealish, didn't it, Shaun, getting the second?
Yeah, it was a great ball in from Mahrez and a fantastic header, but I think his all-round game has been good. I think he's been running off the ball, which when I'm not used to seeing him do. He's running in behind. He's creating space for himself in the short areas, which is allowing him to come and do the things we love seeing Jack do, and that's take players on, win free kicks, because he won 2 good free kicks in good areas just from doing those little things. So it's fantastic to see him back at his best and scoring as well.
Do you think as well now, this is where if he can sustain this, Shaun, this is kind of, the Grealish that I know, we've kind of had glimpses of that we all want to see, but actually now this is like a starting level, and then he could only go on and improve from here, do you think?
Yeah, I think it in his position, especially under Pep and around the players he's playing with now, there is no down. You only seem to get better and better, and that's, from me watching as an outsider and as a fan, pretty much all the players that's come here under Pep seem to have got better in areas that people would say they're not so good at. They've all seemed to have improved. So he's under one of the best coaches, for me, my opinion, in the world. So there's no better place for him to be.
Couldn't agree more.
For me, when I talk about Grealish tonight, he started really well on the front foot, and I think it was 2 or 3 minutes in, and he's cutting in from the left-hand side, and he ends up having this shot. The keeper pulls off a good save, and I think that just really sparked. The crowd was like, yes, this looks like Grealish. And every ball he got, he drove at them with a purpose. So it was seen. And now that he scored, it's a brilliant header, because I don't know if we associate Grealish with that type of header, but I thought it was a brilliant header. And whether it's because of the quality of the ball, and he's just got to get something on it, which he does. He finishes off well, but he started really well. Do you think, though, about Shaun, I don't know if you've felt, because you could feel, especially in these last few games with Jack, I felt that he's trying everything, it's not coming in. When you kind of come out with the bit between your teeth, almost going like, the goal is going to come and I'm going to force it to come. The header felt like it had all the things that have been building up over the last few games. It did. It had all those things. And the thing is, the crowd are so wanting, before he scored, the crowd are so wanting Jack to get that goal. We're talking about it before. If he gets that goal, that, more opportunities will come. But not so much about opportunities. We'll see the consistency of Jack and what he's about, running at players, committing players to give up fouls, which will get penalties, but also assists, and also he'll be getting goals. So really pleased to see him on the front foot. He looks like himself. And if you ask him right now, is he enjoying it? He will say he sure is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, Rodri, I think, will go down for the first assist. And as you both singled out there at the start of the game, because of their tactics, Rodri then popped up with the second assist to play a ball through for Kevin De Bruyne. And that finish, Sean, talk us through that. Oof.
It was a great finish. I thought, to be honest, the way the keeper was coming, he was going to chip it. But from where we're sitting and we watch the goal, we can't see that space in the corner, and even the fact that he sees it, the only gap is like in between his arm and his leg, and he manages on his weak foot to whip it in the near post in that area. So for me, it's a fantastic striker's finish.
And similarly, obviously kind of a little bit like Grealish, we know he's coming back from kind of being ill, obviously trying to find his full rhythm and form again, and I guess a goal like that and the way that he took it, I mean the pace at the back of the net, that can only do Kevin some good now, do you think, Sean?
It was, to be honest, me and Goats were talking before, and that the one thing we said about Kevin is he's a man that doesn't run on low confidence. Because I feel like whatever game he's playing, whether he's fit or not fit, everything he thinks he can see, he's going to try and play.
Yes.
I think the difference with him is the more games he plays, the more you will see him execute them, because his game sharpness is at that peak level.
Yeah.
But when it comes to confidence on the pitch, he's lacking zero of it.
Yeah.
He doesn't need it.
It's a great point. Now, of course, you're saying that maybe Bielsa might be going in there and maybe a bit of a hairdryer treatment, but might be changing tactics slightly. So, looking towards the second half, Sean, what do you think will be said in the City dressing room? Is it keep doing what they're doing, or maybe be wary of what they might be bringing to the table? I mean, Gundogan's the only one out here warming on the pitch there, actually. I don't know if you can see just behind Sean, Gundogan is warming up. So, do you think maybe he could be looking to bring Gundogan on, possibly?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Well, we Gundogan, I'm trying to think who, because everyone's playing so well. Unless someone's got a feeling a little niggle than potential. For City, it's just much of the same. Go out there, continue to move the ball, shift the ball around the back, and when City's able to, one of the centre backs will have the opportunity to then step forward, because that striker cannot chase, because they're so spread. They cannot cover up that 30 meters. So once it goes across, then they step forward. That then commits another player. And, we were talking and we were just saying they're like 3 yards behind. Every time the ball goes to a player, he's getting it 3 yards later, who's then released it. And because City pass the ball so sharp and so accurate, they've got to look at what they're doing a little differently. Because at one time, I saw 7 in a line at the back line. And they probably thought, if I'm 10, 15 yards further up, I'm having to make runs across the field 30 meters, then back diagonal 20 meters, and they just thought I might as well just be amongst the back, because I saw back 7 at times. It was like, I don't want to be up there running because I'm getting nowhere near them.
No, I mean, and a quick question, Sean, on that, because Bielsa will have set them up in a certain way, and we know how highly he's thought of as a manager. Do you think he's got it wrong, or do you think maybe some of the players haven't been able to execute maybe how he'd set them up?
I would say it's hard to say Bielsa's got it completely wrong, because he's come here and played that way and come away with a result before. But I think everyone's wise to it now. And I think the problem he's got is City are moving the ball so quick, as Goat said, that instead of them passing that runner on to the next man, they follow him, and it's 2 passes and it's back in a place where that man just left, or the player drives in there. And once that happens, he's basically past your whole midfield line.
Yeah.
So then it's attack v defence. And with the quality that City have in the 2 high midfielders and the front 3, they're going to pick out passes for days, which is what they've done, and they've created half chances and chances and got their goal.
Yeah.
The other thing as well, they will lose belief the longer you keep trying this and it's not working. Then we're talking about them being 3 yards, it becomes 5 yards. And City then really pop it about with them not getting anywhere near. So, we're looking at this game could be a real change for Leeds in terms of 2 or 3 games later. And you say, well, how are Leeds playing with lack of confidence? It could come from this, because this can end up being 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And because when players start to disbelief in what the manager wants, it spirals
Yeah,
real quickly.
It really can. Well, we'll be seeing now the next 45 minutes unfold, and don't forget we're going to be with you at full time. Now, thank you to Willison, of course. You know we love hearing from you, one of our biggest fans of the show. He's saying, Kel, what's today's Cryptic City? Well, I'm going to bring you that in just a second, but not before I brought Dave's question to Shaun Wright-Phillips, because I said I'd do this at half-time. It came in on WhatsApp, and that's how you can speak to us here on the show. Remember, the show is for you, and it's for you, Shaun Wright-Phillips. It says, what is your favourite / proudest medal? Would it be Division 1, the Premier League with Chelsea, an FA Cup, or do you have one?
I wouldn't necessarily...
Tonight, commentary.
Yeah.
Right? On the show.
Well, was it the taller or shorter medal?
Well, I haven't got it yet, have I? I don't know what I'm getting. No, I wouldn't necessarily say I have a favourite one or anything like that. I think your first medal is always kind of an important one for me. I think because that kind of gives you that hunger and desire to want to achieve and win more.
Yes.
So I would say like the first trophy, a medal I ever won would be the most important one for me.
Would be the one. Thank you, Shaun. There you
Good
go.
answer.
As well. Great answer, Shaun. Right, let's take a look then at today's Cryptic City, of course. I love it sometimes. Our first show before the game is so jam-packed, it's hard to get in. So you can send us your guesses on Twitter, just hashtag Man City. These are 4 clues of a Manchester City player, past or present. You just have to try and work out who it is. You can also use the WhatsApp number if you want, but okay. So we're thinking...
Right, so we have to say it at the end, right?
Yeah, don't say it. Do you think you've got it, Shaun?
No, I've got the part that I'm meant to try and get.
Okay.
And knowing all the names of all the pictures.
Yeah.
But I haven't said it together. I'm going to wait until we're off air.
I love it. Okay. Shaun,
I think I've got it, but I couldn't tell you all
the clues.
All the clues.
Okay, well, listen, those at home, I'm Willison. I'll be hoping to hear from you. You can WhatsApp or tweet us your guesses, and I'll bring that back at full time to find out what is our Cryptic City answer. 4 good clues there, though. All right, I can see the cogs are turning there, Shaun. We'll have a little debrief in the studio as well when it has passed. Looking now, has it just become a game of damage control for Leeds? Is that kind of, when you're going in 3-0 down against a team like Man City, what is said in the dressing room? Because even me and my brother were watching going, I don't know what's going on the pitch, from watching it, let alone on it. So what do you think would be being said in there?
Well, normally you get some managers say, listen, go in the second half. Whether that's 1-0 or you get a draw, then you say, well done because you produced a second half where City haven't gone and scored. I think that's probably would be a great result for Leeds if they were able to go second half without conceding a goal. Because if they continue as they are, again, I could see another couple of goals. So Leeds got a lot of work cut out. I think there'll be players on the bench that will be thinking, get me on, Pep Guardiola. I want to be a part of this. So, yeah, Leeds have got some work.
But what do they do, guys? Like, for me, Leeds don't have any other way of playing.
Yes.
So what do you do? Tell them to sit back? They've never done it before.
Yeah,
it's like talking a foreign language when you can't. Like, it's in their DNA to always play the same. I think, for me, the best they can do is get rid of that 3 yards that they're late on and get back to what people know Leeds are doing in people's faces.
Yeah.
And just go out. They might as well go out swinging for me.
Yeah, well, we shall see what they do in this second half then. Right, we'll be back at full time. Do come join us on Matchday Live. Thank you to both the Shauns and thank you to you for watching. Of course, don't forget Andy Morrison and Alistair Mann have got your commentary on the City app and I'll be seeing you at full time. I do hope Sterling might get on the pitch for 20 minutes just for my fantasy football, and Bernardo missed that chance as well. Now, he was the other one I was thinking about. Anyway, we'll see you at full time. Come on, City.
So City out for the start of the second half and they are making a change. İlkay Gundogan is stripped and readied. And I'm just looking out to see who hasn't come out for the start of the second.